Well, shares of Palo Alto falling in overtime. Let's see, down about 9% now, despite beating on the top and bottom lines moments ago. Joining us now on this earnings call and what's to come is Saket Kalia of Barclays, who has an overweight rating on the stock. Saket, you felt like billings risk had sort of been dealt with. The Q4 billings guide seems to me to be right in the middle of expectations. So what gives here? Was it just trading at a range where people expected more of a beat?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, John. That's right. We were at about 3% billings growth coming into the quarter. You know, from our conversations and some of our channel checks, I think the expectation was just a little bit higher, maybe in the mid-single digits. But you know what I think is really interesting here to hear on the call, John, is the RPO metric, right? The remaining purchase obligations. That metric actually grew about 22 or 23% year over year, which I think probably shows the bookings environment was okay. So the question on the call is going to be whether there was any sort of change in duration or billings terms that maybe might explain the difference in that metric of billings versus RPO. The other metric that was really interesting here is their next-gen security annually recurring revenue, or ARR. That beat by a pretty healthy margin by about 100 million, and they're flowing that through to the year. So a couple moving pieces to the print. Of course, billings is that main metric, and that was a little bit below what people were thinking.
So with that in mind, taking a look at the year-to-date chart or a 6-month chart, Palo Alto, with this after-hours level, is just about where it started the year. Given that you do think that billings has been de-risked from here and the quarter looks solid, is this a healthy entry point, you think?
You know, I think it might be. I mean, we're going into the July quarter, which for Palo Alto Networks is their seasonally strongest. You know, from a portfolio perspective, you really have that NGS business that addresses some of the fastest growing areas in security, whether it's SASE or cloud or SIM. You know, from a portfolio perspective, this is really that security company that I think is a little bit ahead in terms of exposure to those markets. So. We're going to have to get a little bit of color just on what are some of the moving parts within billings. But listen, this is a core holding in our view in terms of a complete security platform.
Yeah, using the word platform here. Speaking of platformization, which we know was such a key part of the messiness we saw in the last earnings, and something that the CEO of Palo Alto came on and talked to us about now that they've struck this deeper partnership with IBM on this show, came on and talked to us about it last week. How should investors think about that strategy and how it rolls out? And I guess the metrics, how to think about these metrics since we did have this reset a couple of months ago.
Well, the acquisition, so as you know, Palo Alto is acquiring the SaaS assets of IBM's QRadar business, which is actually the number 3 player in the SIM market. That's a market that's going through a lot of disruption right now. Really nuanced point there. Palo Alto is just acquiring the SaaS piece, but they will offer on-premise QRadar customers an upgrade path to their next-gen product, which is called XIM. And so there hasn't been a lot of disclosure yet just on sizing of the base or of the asset, as well as sort of purchase price. So that's going to be another talking point, I think, here on the call. But understand the strategy here in terms of buying a well-established kind of SIM provider, but really giving them a path to something more next-gen and something with a little bit more of a security focus.
Okay, quick last question for you. Are we going to see more consolidation across the cybersecurity sector? And I ask that as we have CyberArk's CEO getting ready to join us a little bit later this hour, and we have started to see an uptick in deal making.
Yeah, it's a good question, and Matt and the team at CyberArk did a great job, I think, with their proposed acquisition of Venafi. So I know that'll be a fun conversation. Listen, I think that there's some security names here that are getting down to some really palatable valuations. So wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of an uptick in M&A, and we saw that on the back. You know, besides the Palo IBM deal, you also had some consolidation on the private side in the SIM market. So yeah, I think we've started to see a little bit of that, and I think it might continue.